This is Trend Following Radio, where great thinking comes alive. Nobel Prize winners, legendary traders, best-selling authors, and the pros that know what drive us irrational human beings. I am your host, Michael Covel. Not filtered, raw, honest. That's my passion. So the plan as of right now is to land, actually I guess to fly out of LAX February 1st. I guess that puts me into Seoul around February 2nd. From there, I know there is a speech in February in Tokyo. And then from there, head south. And I'm sure there'll be some time spent in Singapore, Bali, KL, and Penang, and Thailand. And hopefully there'll be enough time to make it up to Nepal. A little extra journey back up there. So, but I thought that was a great song, a great intro to go launch an Asian foray, a Far East foray, right? And I have to tell you, I want the, if you haven't seen that video for Gangnam Style, you have to check it out. I want the yellow suit. That's what I want. So I might actually, if I can find that yellow suit, then apparently I'm guessing it's probably not hard. But if I can find a copy of that yellow suit, I think I might start wearing that to speeches because I think it's a little more interesting. This is a standard issue banker attire that I put on. I mean, I don't wear a tie to begin with, but I think the yellow suit, that'd be fantastic, right? A little neon glow to it, just a little kind of like little sun flavor. So I want to run over a couple things real quick. First off, big thank you for the success of this podcast. And I noticed the other day, I was just futzing around and I looked on iTunes and this podcast that I do that, with all these great guests that have agreed to come on and my maniacal monologues, apparently someone's listening to the tune of, it was number 2 on iTunes in the investing category. Okay, whatever. What does that mean? Well, number 1 was Dave Ramsey. I don't know how big his radio show is, but he's got a few listeners, a few bit more than I do. And I don't have the luxury of appearing on every major TV show, etc. But I was number 2. So Ramsey's number 1, I'm number 2. Who was behind me? Now, this is a moment in time. Things can ebb and flow. I don't know at this moment in time if I'm going to stay number 2. Probably won't. But if we keep at it, if we got to number 2, I'm assuming I can get back to number 2. Number 3 was Kramer with Mad Money. Number 4 was CNBC with Susie Orman. Number 5 was the Wall Street Journal. Motley Fool was in there. And Fast Money was in the top 10. CNBC's Fast Money. So with, all word of mouth, this little podcast, this little trend following podcast got to be number 2. That's pretty cool. I have to take credit in the sense that I show up and I talk and I find people to talk to. But I think if anything, this podcast is saying that people know, or at least the people in the know, and maybe some of the people that haven't been in the know are starting to actually figure out how things really work. But the people in the know don't want to listen to the other quote episodes in the top 10 because it's all just nonsense. It's boilerplate nonsense. Everyone knows it's not real. Anyone with a pulse knows it's not real. It's not useful to listen. I think it's great that Dave Ramsey has convinced Walmart America that they should cut their credit cards up and not buy more plastic trinkets from China that will eventually be melted down and shipped back to China so they can make more plastic trinkets. So they go back to Walmart and get all excited, eat a big pretzel, drink a big Coke, leave Walmart and repeat the cycle over and over and over again. Their kids graduate college. So once their kids graduate college, they can shop at Walmart too. It's the American dream. I can shop at Walmart. I can shop at Target. I can buy plastic crap. It's the American dream. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad American dream. I'm not trying to pass a value judgment. I really am not. I'm being a little sarcastic, but to some degree, it's kind of sad because I don't think the people that are in that cycle, The people that are in that cycle that have been conditioned to think that they have to use a credit card that is basically like a loan sharking thing from Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and all the mega banks, that they've been conditioned to think that they must have these plastic trinkets that Walmart and Target sells them. So they make $4,000 in a month, and they spend it all, and they buy all these goodies, and then they're stuck. I don't think they want to be stuck. I don't think they want that. I think they want to figure out a way out. And, I've got a really good book here that someone recommended to me. It's by Stephen Cope. It's called The Great Work of Your Life, a guide for the journey to your true calling. And to get a little yoga on you, it talks about finding your dharma. What is your calling? What are you out there for? I really don't think most Americans that are going out to vote or going out to shop, I don't really think they want to be on this treadmill. I think they want to find something that's meaningful. And I look at trend following as a means to an end. I mean, trend following is a way to find freedom. Maybe trend following is a way to get your freedom so you can maybe find your dharma, you can find your calling. I mean, I'm sure people follow my work and learn trend following just because they want to buy stuff. They want to buy the expensive car and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure there's plenty of people that do that. But I look at it more from like, how can you gain your freedom? So this Asian journey that's being planned, I will be speaking at multiple locations. Right now, it looks like for sure Tokyo and Singapore. That could expand out quite a bit. It could easily expand to Bangkok and KL, Kuala Lumpur, and so that's where that stands. So listen, I want to start to reach out to people. If you have an interest in getting together, meeting, if you want me to appear and you're willing to write the big old fat check, being somewhat facetious, but not really. I am a capitalist. I might be a nice capitalist. I might be in the process of practicing and learning yoga, but I'm still a capitalist. I still have to pay the bills. So anyways, if you would like to connect, if you want to connect, reach out. So those are my main updates right now for today, is really just to let people know about this upcoming trip, just be starting February 1st, and to kind of, once again, thank you for this podcast ranking of number 2, which we'll just have to see what it really means. I don't know what it means. I'd like to ramp up. I'd like to really kind of ramp this up, because this, if we can find a little success, a little truth in the iTunes investing world, and clearly there's listeners, I think we can ramp this up. It says who will be comfortable, who that has much larger distribution than me, who has much larger distribution than Michael Covel, who will be comfortable allowing me to have a megaphone, a microphone, where I'm not censored, where I don't have to worry about what my advertisers think, that I don't have to worry about what I say. And my only objective is the truth, even if I happen to be ripping the hell out of the very entity that actually allows me to have a larger distribution channel. Maybe it won't happen, because maybe they might not really like that, but and you know what? Maybe it's not going to be really necessary. Maybe we're in this point in time where we are truly moving towards the great .com ideal of one person, one voice, if it's good, can reach a lot of people without the middleman. And that's pretty exciting. Pretty damn exciting. So I'm going to get into one aspect of from a trend following perspective, kind of why trend following is wise from a couple different angles. And first, I want to read a quote from Bob Prechter. And Bob is of Elliott Wave fame. And I don't subscribe to Elliott Wave. I don't think predictive techniques in the market work. But Bob had a fantastic piece of writing that I saw over the weekend that my friend Randall Vest forwarded along. And let me read this really quick. So it says, quote, "You can go all the way back to 1929, and the Fed was doing what its job is supposed to be, which is to put dampers on exuberance and only make money easier when the markets are down and the economy is contracting. Following that plan, the Fed raised the discount rate in 1929 to 6%. Here at the 1937 high, it raised margin requirements and bank reserves. In the 1968 bull market, when the public was excited about stocks, the Fed raised margin requirements and then raised the discount rate to 6%. In 2000, right at that high, the Fed raised its discount rate to 6%. In 2006, when the housing market was topping and a year before stocks topped, it raised it to 6.25%. What is the Fed doing now? The market is right back in the rarefied areas that it was when the Fed dampened speculation. But now the Fed is doing the exact opposite. Not only has the Fed not raised the discount rate to 6% or even to 1%, but it's keeping the Fed funds rate at zero, and it's promising a 0% Fed funds rate through 2015, 3 whole years. This is a 180-degree turn, and it tells me the Fed is in a panic, end quote. I posted this on Facebook and immediately, and I don't blame people. I write about trend following. Well, why am I quoting Bob Prechter? And immediately people are like, oh, just follow the trend. And, once again, I'm happy. This is how it's supposed to happen, Maybe Prechter's right. Maybe Prechter's wrong. He's made a lot of big predictions. Trend followers really don't care what he happens to say. But here's the thing. What he says is relevant information from a societal standpoint. If the Fed has dampened speculation in the past by raising interest rates to pierce the bubble, to pop the bubble, but today you've got markets right back at the essentially the all-time highs, and they're telling you just unilaterally, no matter what, we're going to keep rates at 0% through 2015. I agree with Prechter. That's kind of a panicky type thing. Now, this is great. We can talk about it. We can look at it. I'm not trading off this information. I'm not making a bet off this. I'm not building a bomb shelter. I'm not buying gold off this. I'm not buying Argentinian farmland. Okay? But it does, from a societal standpoint, raise a little bit of a flag. And it says, gosh, do I really want to be in a position to trust that the Fed will take care of me? Do I really want to be in a position to trust Daddy Bernanke? I mean, how I love it when Daddy tucks me in at night and gives me a kiss on the forehead. When loving Daddy Bernanke walks in the room, and you kind of get that kind of bad feeling in your stomach when he leans over to kiss you on the forehead. Or at least you should get a bad feeling in your stomach. If you're laying in bed and Bernanke walks in the room to give you a kiss on the forehead and tell you everything's all right and just, sweet dreams, take your shot. It's time for the Matrix to take over. So if Prechter's scenario has any chance of being accurate, then what? What strategy will you employ if Prechter is remotely accurate? Well, first off, you can't employ a strategy that's going to predict what Prechter's talking about. So the Fed's in a panic and they've goosed the situation to where they have. Do you really think markets are just going to continue steady Eddie on an upward climb? Do you want to bet on that? I mean, your choice here is really simple, right? You can just trust the system, or you can put in place a strategy that doesn't trust the system and says, I'd rather trust the price action. So I'm not telling you to make a bet on what Prechter is saying. I'm saying, look at what Prechter is saying to be inspired to be a trend following trader. To say, it's very good analysis on what he's saying, and that you can't trust the system, and that the system is kind of rigged. If that's the case, what do you do? If that's the case, what do you do? Trend following is a fantastic option. It's the best option. So, taking that into account, how do you adjust? How do you get to a point where you say, okay, if I agree with Prechter that there's a volatile, uncertain situation out there, and if I'm listening to this guy Covel and trend following makes a lot of sense, but there's still kind of like, people can be stuck. They can't overcome. They can't break out. Maybe they hear about trend following and like read a book and they're like, oh, I don't know. So author Seth Godin talks about being unstuck, and he says the best way to get unstuck, don't wait for the right answer and the golden path to present. This is precisely why you're stuck. Starting without seeing the end is difficult. so we often wait until we see the end, scanning relentlessly for the right way, the best way, and the perfect way. The way to get unstuck is to start down the wrong path right now, step by step, page by page, interaction by interaction. As you start moving, you can't help but improve. Can't help but incrementally find yourself getting back toward your North Star. You might not end up with perfect, but it's significantly more valuable than being stuck. And as I finish that quote, I want to get back to a sentence that he said in there, which is so pure trend following. Starting without seeing the end is difficult, so we often wait until we see the end. The end is when Bernanke's plan doesn't work. That's waiting to see the end. Gee, look at this little plan Bernanke's up to. Let's see how it turns out. It's going to have to turn out good because he's my daddy. He came in and except for the one night when he accidentally kissed me on the lips, he's always been very nice to me. You know, I didn't like it that one night where he got really close. I felt uncomfortable. I somewhat felt violated, but I digress. And there was no inference there. I don't know Bernanke, and I really have never had a dream like that, and hopefully that won't happen. But I think you get the point. If you're trusting this rather, I don't know what he is, but if you're trusting this guy because you can't see the end, you figure, well, I might as well ride with him till the end. But see, that's trend following. Trend following can't see the end. This is yoga too. You don't see the end. You don't know the end. We're in the moment of now, the moment of right now. You have to make a decision right now. You can't see the market chart 6 months from now. You can't see the market chart 6 months from now. It's impossible. You can't see it. Can you see it? I can't see it. How the hell can you see it? And all those people on that podcast on iTunes that came ahead of me, not ahead of me, Dave Ramsey was the only one ahead of me. But anyways, the ones that were behind me, Kramer, Orman, Wall Street Journal, Motley Fool, Fast Money, all those folks tell you they can see it. They can see the end. I can't see the end. So what's one way to approach getting unstuck? Now that you got to get unstuck, there's all this chaos in the world, as Prechter talks about, right? And as Seth Godin, as I just quoted, he's talking about getting unstuck. Atul Gawande, doctor, surgeon, he's written books about checklists. Great quote. What I found over time, trying to follow and emulate people that were focused on achieving something more than competence, is they weren't smarter than anyone else. They weren't geniuses. Instead, they seemed to be people that could come to grips with inherent fallibility, their inherent fallibility. Fallibility in the systems they work in and with what it took to overcome that fallibility, end quote. So it's not necessary. It's not about innate talent. It's about practice. It's about knowing the downside. Larry Hite always says, what's the worst that can happen to me? How much can I lose? That's measuring fallibility. How can I screw up? Who can you emulate? I mean, that's the great thing about trend following. There's all these people you can emulate. And I am working on something as we kind of wrap up here. I think those points are pretty clear. I don't want to belabor them, but I'm working on something really cool. And I've put a lot of information out over the years, but by no means have I put everything out. I am like the Library of Alexandria when it comes to trend following. I mean, you're talking about just massive amounts of stuff piled up. And I've actually had my assistant going ahead and scanning it all and doing the OCR scans on it. Very cool. And so I'm putting this into one massive searchable PDF. Yes, it won't be free. So those of you that would like to take advantage of 15 years of research to acquire background, document, systems, research that doesn't really exist anywhere else, or maybe you could spend 15 years finding it yourself. So I will be having it an announcement on this probably in the next week or two. But I saw the first bits of it today, the first, 700 pages. But it's all very cool because it's going to be very searchable. And that's going to make it really nice as a research document. You can just kind of go through and find plenty of you guys are going to be like me. You're going to read every last word of it just because you want to kind of have the confidence. You want to get behind the scenes and you want to see how trend following has performed historically, and looking at new systems, et cetera, et cetera. So anyways, that's coming up. But I thought those three quotes were very important today. The Bob Prechter about the uncertainty, Seth Godin talking about getting unstuck, and Atul Gawande talking about knowing your fallibility and that, frankly, it is about practice. It is about nurture, and this isn't about superstar nature and being born with it, that you can achieve it. And for all of you out there that don't know the story, I'm not going to repeat it here, but my second book, The Complete Turtle Trader, if you ever wanted to be inspired, and it's not an old story, so to speak, it is a classic, timeless story of nurture trumping nature, please read The Complete Turtle Trader. I think that will set in motion, even much, much more so than I have in this podcast, the idea that you, an average person on the street, can have a chance to find some freedom. And using trend following as a tool to find some freedom in your life. That's what this is about. I see a time when those awake will understand how to make money in up, down, and surprise markets. Whether new trader or experienced, college student or financial advisor, protecting against a crash or just trying to make a lot of money, trend following offers everyone an answer in uncertain times. To get started immediately, send me an email, michael@covel.com. I will send you the right trend following steps to take along with my free video. But if you want to buy and hold, trust the government and trust Wall Street, this is absolutely not for you.